Hello there. Welcome to Deples Discuss episode 1. As you very much know, my name is Ebere Chukuyuni Sobiokwe, and I am your anchor person and your facilitator on Deples Discusses. Today on Deples Discuss, we will be talking about sexual voice. What is sexual voice? What does sexual voice means? Are there limiting voices? What are the implications of having or finding or developing or deciphering your sexual voice? And how can you decipher your sexual voice? Okay, let's get the ball rolling. Before I ask, or before we delve into the sexual voice, I want to ask you some pertinent questions, some few questions, albeit personal questions. Question number one: do you enjoy physical touch? Do you feel good about your body? Do you trust your partner? Do you think your partner trusts you or can trust you? Do you feel good about yourself? What about your upbringing? Do you think that your upbringing gave you positive messages about sex? That's your faith. That's your religion. Do you think that your faith or the religion that you practiced gave you powerful or positive messages about sex? Do you understand that you and your partner have completely different sexual or may have completely different sexual needs and expectations? What about life challenges? Do you know that life challenges can affect your sex life? And those expectations of sex that you hold so much there, that you have come into your present relationship with, or you're even hoping to enter a relationship with, how realistic are they? Are they really realistic? What about the sex mates? Do you know there are so many sexual mates out there? Coming to the relationship between you and your partner, do you think that you both have the skills to work through your struggles, your relationship struggles, such as conflict, such as pornography, such as power struggles, and extramarital affairs? What about different parts of your body? The sexual part of your body, the different parts of them. Do you know the feelings that they provoke? Are you aware of your body and the different parts of your body and the sexual feelings that they can provoke in you? If your answer is yes or on some and not on some, or if your answer is no or on any of these questions, then you are on the right track listening to this Deples Discuss with me. So what turns you on? Think about that while we delve into what we have. I would have wanted to give us a background on the Deples, but those of us who've got the materials, we'll read through. Now let's go into sexual voice. What does it mean when you hear, as I've just said it, sexual voice, your personal sexual voice? I know that if I were to allow you to talk, you may say, oh, this is how I scream. This is how they scream. No. Or when I call my partner, I talk like this. I don't know. Sexual voice is not just about sounds. Sexual voice is about you, your sexuality, owning your sexuality. But before we talk about your being in charge of this, your sexuality, let's talk about the things within you that can be limiting you from discovering this wonderful voice that you have. Sex limiting voices. Simple things, everyday things, habits, characteristics, features that we have developed over time in our lives in the terms of dealing, rel- in relating with another person. Yes, there are some persons like the nice people. I like to be nice. I am a nice person. And because I'm a nice person, when I'm with my partner, I am ashamed of letting him feel or letting her know that I can take charge. I am ashamed of taking the lead during sex because I'm a nice person. No, you would only be doing yourself a disservice if you don't own to taking lead in your sex, lead of your sexual relationship. So people, you don't have to like me, especially guys. You don't have to like me. Because if you want your partner, if you want your lady partner to give you the best of herself in a sexual relationship, trust me, you wouldn't want your partner to own her sexuality, to own his sexuality. For nothing to stifle them, for them to blossom. And then look at another behavior pattern. I can't say no to sex because I am afraid my partner will leave me or even make a fuss about it if I say no. Look at the thought characteristics. I care so much about others, and to the point that I neglect myself so often. And you want to bring that behavior, or you're bringing that same attribute to your sexual life. Who is doing who? I started out this year, remember, and I said that you and I will have a rambunctious sexual life. You cannot have a rambunctious sexual life when you are limiting your sexual self, limiting your sexuality by being caring about others and neglecting yourself sexually. It's not this year, not with all the briefing up and down. Another thing that can limit your sexual voice, understandably so, but then again, you have to work through it, is traumatic sexual experiences. When some people have traumatic experiences sexually, it can limit them from showing up and being present and owning their sexuality. And then another one is that a man, mainly men don't know that this alone limits them. If you think I'm lying, go and ask the men who are not limited by this mindset. The mindset that as a man, I am supposed to be in charge. I am supposed to take charge of every sexual experience I have with my partner. You would only be fatiguing yourself. You'll be carrying the weight of the whole world on your shoulders, the weight of the woman and your own weight sexually. And there's too much disservice, guys. There's no place it is written that men should take charge, only men or only guys should take charge in a sexual relationship. How about finding what works for you together? Or a woman, you are so concerned about your outward appearance, and you feel if I don't dress this way, the sex won't be nice. If I don't dress that way, I won't be palatable. He will not do this style and that style and all of that with me. Talk about limiting yourself sexually. And that's not always true. So, what works? What about this unhelpful myths? Like I said, some of these things we've talked about are unhelpful to us. They limit us. They do not allow us to be ourselves. What then is this sexual voice? There is a saying that you cannot, I always like to say this to people, you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot, I can't satisfy a man where me, myself, I do not know what satisfaction means. I can't give love when I don't love myself. And if you don't love yourself, how do you know what love is? Even the good Bible, the good book says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you do not have your sexual voice, how can you speak the language of another? So to be able to enjoy sex, one must be able to understand himself or herself in terms of what they like, what they don't like. You have to be aware. Sexual voice is the awareness of your sexuality. But it goes beyond likes and dislikes. It has to do with getting in tune or in touch with yourself in terms of your desires too. And knowing what you want. And being able to communicate your sexual feelings in an open manner with your partner. Sexual voice includes individual sensitivities and preferences. It's about you, your preferences, your sensitivities, what works for you per time. A person who has developed their sexual voice can feel free to discuss their sexual desires, can make sexual requests of their partner, can share their vulnerabilities with their partner, and can disclose their personal turn-ons and still feel accepted and not judged. So you see how powerful it is, or it will be, if the both partners know this. It will be so empowering. But the challenge for you and I on this Deples journey is to incorporate the different dimensions, or ensure that the different dimensions of Deples are present in our sexual voice. Hallelujah. So what does this imply for couples? Having a sexual voice implies that each couple know who they are sexually. Because when you know who you are sexually, you can present yourself to your partner. You can present yourself, to your spouse and be able to work out what works for the both of you. And not feel manipulated, and not feel coerced, and not feel resentment, and not feel used at any point in time in your sexual relationship. And when this happens, you find out that the desire problems of inhibitions and all of that are not, how do I put it, are not physiological, that are not medical, can be tackled. Or they may not even be there. So how can you figure out your sexual voice? There are about 3 tips to figuring out your sexual voice. The first is understanding what your motivation for sex is. The second is letting go of the goals. All those sexual goals. I want to have 3 times sex. If I have it hanging my leg up, everything will work out. Letting go of those goals and embracing your sensations. These are 3 ways that they're not independent, they work together in helping you to figure out what your sexual voice is. The first, your sex motivation. Oh, your sex motivation. To be able to harness your sexual voice, it is important to first of all understand why you will engage in sex and why you are not engaging, or you do not want to engage in sex at any point in time. You want to have sex. What is your motivation for the sex that you are having? Well, what is driving you? Why do you want to have this sex? There's so many reasons that people, have why they want to have sex. Some of these reasons are positive and empowering reasons. Some of them are just neutral, just there. While some of them are negative and hamper on the sexual relationship of a person or of a couple. The positive reasons can be for connection. I want to express myself. I want to connect with you. I, those are positive and empowering reasons for pleasure. I want to engage in sex because I need to know that I can derive pleasure in it. I can express desire. I can feel connected to another person. These are positive and empowering reasons. Neutral reasons can be, okay, because we're in a marital relationship, we want to have kids, and then we want to do this sex particularly to have kids. That's a neutral reason. And the negative reason is because my partner wants to have sex, not because I want to have sex, but because I want to satisfy my partner. Negative reasons can be, it's an obligation. It is my marital obligation to have sex. I'm not saying that they are out of place. I'm saying that they will not be sexually empowering enough for a person who wants to be aware of their sexuality, who wants to own their sexuality. Your reasons for having it should not be limited to the fact that it is an obligation. Find a meaning that satisfies you or fulfills you in it. So you can do away with resentment and all these inhibitions. Let me come in here. This might be digressing, but I have a problem when people think that because a marriage has lasted 50 years means it's a happy marriage, or because a sexual relationship has progressed to as much as 50, 60 years, it means that the sex in that union is okay. One or two questions that you may ask the persons, will expose a whole lot to you. But that does not mean that sexual relationships do not have challenges. No. It doesn't take away the individualities. It doesn't take away the fact that the people involved are individuals that are still evolving. It doesn't take away conflicts. But all I'm saying is that you can make it a point of duty to enjoy your sexuality. Okay? Then what are the negative, the reasons why you will not have sex? You will not want to have sex. You see, when we talk about sexual voice also includes your ability to say no to sex and own it without feeling bad about yourself or about the reason. When a couple, let's say in a heterosexual relationship, a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, when they come together and the man has a sexual voice, the woman has a sexual voice, and their sex esteem is positive. There is no judgment when the woman says, I don't feel like having sex today. I don't want to have sex now. There is a mutuality in understanding. Knowing that this is not coming from a place of resentment. My no is not coming from a place of anger. It's not coming from a place of desire problems. It's not coming from a place of pain, but it's coming from a realistic, genuine, and aware place that it is communicated properly to the partner. That's what this sexual voice does to you. It's not just about women. understanding. It's about men understanding and also couples developing their sexual voices so that they can maximize their every sexual experience and their sexual relationship will be lit. Kunaka. But it's not just about saying it. I hope you're getting the point here. And then it's important also to understand the balance between why you want to have sex and why you do not want to have sex. That's what I said. So that it's not coming from a negative place. Okay. A thorough understanding of these your motivations will help you to become actively involved and empowered to achieve the right sex that is good for you as a person and good for your relationship. That's mutually now per encounter. If you do understand this, you will be able to be involved, both of you be involved in deciding what sex works now for us. The beauty of sex and finding your sexual voice is in letting go of the limitations and barriers and allowing yourself to delve deeper into the phases of the experience and making sure that you savor every emerging moment of sex, irrespective of how the sex started and the pace. It's an inward looking into yourself and being in tune with every experience that you are having without limitations, without barriers. Letting go of all the hindrances and embracing the moments as they come with your own partner. It allows you to channel focus and attention on yourself, treating yourself with all the care and the tenderness that you deserve, and not looking at yourself as a machine or a robot that must fulfill a particular function. No, it's allowing yourself, it's pampering yourself, it's letting loose yourself, treating yourself with all the care that you deserve sexually. That's what the sexual voice is all about. And in this case, your body is relaxed, there is no anxiety, and you are let loose. Your feelings will flourish and blossom. The second way of figuring out your sexual voice is shunning the goals. That's what I was building on. Shunning all those good goals, shutting down I have to have sex 4 times a week. I have to have sex 7 times a week, 3 times a day, blah, blah, blah. I want to do this style. It's a goal. I must get it expert mode activated. As awesome as setting goals can be, when it comes to finding your sexual voice, it is better to set aside the goals. The thing is in focusing on goals. Let me explain. Focusing on these goals puts you under a whole lot of pressure. And this pressure is not what you want. You don't need you don't need pressure to showcase yourself, to let loose yourself. Pressure is a limitation. Goals can put you under undue pressure to perform. And in this case, we're not looking about performance now. We're looking about a showcasing of yourself. The thing about this pressure is that it takes away the fun. Imagine that, my goal today is to be an expert in doggy style. So while we are having this, my mind is in, are we getting the doggy style where? Is he entering where? Is it the right position? Is this the right position? In that sense, what's the fun in it? What's the excitement? Focusing on this sex goals will just take away the whole fun and the excitement and the enjoyment in the sex experience. So my darlings, when it comes to finding your sexual voice, trash the goals. I said it. Okay? And the next thing, the next way to do that is embrace your sensations. And that's the last part. Embracing your sensations. Embracing your sensations is shifting focus to yourself. Focus on me, on when, myself. Instead of channeling all your energy towards meeting the needs of your partner, which is good, but great is that you move beyond that. You let that be an outward flow of an inward grace. Let it be an overflow. The fact that you're meeting the needs of your partner is an overflow of you channeling attention and meeting your own needs. That's loving your neighbor as you love yourself. That's giving what you have. Allowing the raw awareness of your sensations and feelings and reveling in it. Taking notice of whatever happens before, during, and even after the sexual experience. It is about releasing your body and soul to be attuned to the pleasures of the moments. I used to tell the people around me that I cannot miss out. Not that in every sex encounter I want to make it a power struggle, no. But I do my best to focus on me. And in my being focused on myself and enjoying it, I'm unleashing positive energies to my partner. And in such, we are meeting ourselves in a place where it is awesome. Now, being able to communicate these feelings and sensations to your partner as well is part of embracing your sensations. You embrace them, you trust yourself, you follow your body, you pay attention to the needs, to desires of your body, but time, you lean to it. Allow your body to set the tone. You notice every feeling that you are feeling and you enjoying it. You embrace the feelings and you revel in them, and then you blossom. Initially, for a person who is still figuring this out, they may be very, faint to notice, faint, to decipher. But the more you pay attention to them, the more they are strengthened. They can now manifest often. And then you become confident in expressing your feelings. Is that okay? Now, anytime you notice an urge to stop, slow down, or do something differently, make a request to your partner, either verbally or non-verbally. Owning your sexual voice, finding it. However, some of the sensations as you are beginning this journey may be difficult to, or maybe uncomfortable. You are not alone. It's very okay. And the pains you may feel are also a part of you. Embrace whatever pain there may be in the process instead of ignoring them. Acknowledge them and then seek for the support of maybe your partner or a close friend or even a professional on how to deal with it. Every part of your sexuality, darlings, need to be nurtured, including being vulnerable. There is no great sexuality without being vulnerable. Vulnerable to your sensitivities, to your preferences, vulnerable to your desires and to your feelings. You must learn to be vulnerable to yourself and then to your partner. Oftentimes you hear people say that to enhance sex, one has to follow and keep certain tips, such as wear this, say this, try these techniques, or whatever, that and that. The most effective towards enhancing and finding your sexual voice is to get deep into the recesses of your soul, just like an artist does, and find inspiration there. Trusting in yourself, creating for yourself the picture that suits you. This may be demanding and will involve bravery and taking risks in your relationship. Trust me, there is a whole lot of risk for those who desire to find their sexual voice. But the reward is that there will be growth, there will be mastery of your true sexual self. Conclusively, having a sexual voice is about more than the words you say. Although words are important, but it's in the choices that you make and the actions that you take. If you struggle to express your feelings and needs in your life, it can eventually come to feel as if you are imprisoned in whatever relationship that you are in. Now, setting yourself free, liberating yourself, does not have to change your personality, but it may lead to some changes in your life. And it also has the potential to lead you to deeper fulfillment and intimacy in your current and or future sexual relationships. There you have it, guys. That's my closing remark. Your sexual voice is very, very important, and more so that couples independently figure this out. This will help you build on your couple style that suits you and your partner. Join me again on the next episode of Deples, where we'll be looking at the Deples mantra. Once again, my name is Ebere Chukwu Obiokwe. Feel free to send in your questions and your discussions on the subject matter that we have just talked about today, and that is sexual voice. Till we'll meet again, bye-bye. Share, like, and feel free to comment. Day one.